Many of you are unintentionally sending yourselves straight to the emergency room by rigidly forcing down 8 glasses of water a day, even when you aren't thirsty. Picture this, right? An anxious 70-year-old man who carries a plastic jug with him everywhere he goes, utterly terrified of dehydration. He's constantly checking the little volume markers on the side of his bottle, genuinely fearful that if he doesn't drain every last drop before sundown, his body is just going to somehow wither away. Now, you might recognize yourself or maybe a neighbor in that exact picture. But here's the thing, that heavy daily anxiety, it's a completely baseless fear. It's an anxiety born from a massive historical misunderstanding that has literally dictated our habits for decades. To see how we got here, we just need to glance at this timeline. The 2.5-liter Typo in 1945, Gatorade being invented in 1965, the sports drink industry funding medical guidelines in 1992, and finally, a medical review debunking the 8-glass myth in 2002. So, to really understand how we completely lost touch with our own bodies, we have to trace this whole medical mystery back to that first date, 1945. At that time, a highly authoritative group called the Food and Nutrition Board published a simple dietary guideline that would inadvertently change human habits forever. Buried in the exact phrasing of that thick 1945 manual was a tiny little note. It stated, "A suitable allowance of water for adults is 2.5 liters daily." And guess what? The entire world basically stopped reading right there. They immediately converted that metric to about 8 glasses and completely ignored the very next sentence. That follow-up sentence clearly stated that most of this fluid is already present in your daily meals. Because of a simple failure to read to the end of a paragraph, we've fundamentally altered our behavior. Think about the meals you eat every single day. An average person actually consumes up to a full liter of fluid simply by chewing and swallowing regular food. When you bite into a crisp, juicy apple, 86% of what hits your stomach is actually water. Even a dense, savory beef steak, that is roughly 60% water. And a cooling cucumber is a staggering 95% water. By just eating a normal diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and proteins, you are already hydrating in the most natural way possible. But the hydration doesn't stop at your plate. Your body is an absolute masterpiece of an extraction machine. Beyond what you eat, there is a silent miracle happening inside you right now. In the medical field, they call it metabolic water. Every single day, your body's internal factory naturally produces over a full liter of this metabolic water. Just by converting your food into energy so you can walk around, go shopping, or play with your grandkids, that internal combustion process naturally generates its own fluid. So the crucial point we need to take away here is that blindly chugging excess fluids on top of all this internal production is completely redundant. Let's think of it like this. You wouldn't drown a tiny potted daisy sitting on your windowsill with the exact same amount of water you'd give a massive, towering oak tree in your front yard, would you? Of course not. So why on earth do we apply a rigid, one-size-fits-all water rule to completely different human bodies? How can a 300-pound heavy lifter sweating for hours require the exact same fluid intake as a 100-pound sedentary person quietly reading a book? They don't. A universal template simply does not exist. The strict 8 glasses rule actually hijacked the reputation of a legendary historical figure, Harvard's founding nutrition chair, Dr. Frederick Stare. But what's rarely mentioned is that Dr. Stare himself clarified that your daily fluid intake includes your morning coffee, your afternoon tea, milk, and yes, incredibly, even beer. They all count. So why did it take until 2002 for a kidney specialist to actually look for the clinical evidence behind the 8-glass rule, only to find absolutely zero scientific studies supporting it? To understand why this myth stubbornly persists against all scientific logic, we really have to follow the money straight into the global bottled water industry. This absolute monster of an industry rakes in a staggering $290 billion every single year. In the US alone, people consume nearly 16 billion gallons of bottled water annually. It is a massive, highly profitable machine that actively thrives on your anxiety about hydration. But it wasn't just bottled water. In the 1990s, the sports drink industry heavily influenced medical guidelines. Get this. In 1992, Gatorade granted $250,000 to the American College of Sports Medicine. The very next year, a roundtable was held, and a dangerous new mantra was aggressively pushed out to the public: drink before you are thirsty. They deliberately sowed fear, basically convincing people that your natural thirst is a lie and that you absolutely must constantly preemptively drink their products to avoid dangerous dehydration. Thankfully, independent science is finally catching up. A massive independent study tracking what's called water turnover recently destroyed the 8-glass rule entirely. Researchers tracked over 5,600 people across 26 countries, ranging from 8-year-olds to 96-year-olds. They proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that daily fluid loss varies wildly. Some people lost just 1 liter a day, while others lost up to 6 liters, purely depending on their age, their climate, and their physical exertion. Again, one size absolutely does not fit all. Now, let's look at why overhydration is literally sending people to the hospital. I want you to imagine your blood is a perfectly seasoned soup simmering on the stove. It requires an exact, precise measurement of salt or sodium to properly nourish your cells and keep your body functioning perfectly. So what happens when you dump gallons of unnecessary water into that perfect soup? Well, when you force down too much water, you flood your bloodstream and you ruin the recipe. You severely dilute your sodium levels, which triggers a deadly medical condition called hyponatremia. This isn't just about feeling a little bloated, okay? This is a life-threatening drop in blood sodium that can literally shut down your bodily systems in a heartbeat. And this medical crisis isn't just theoretical. It can strike with devastating speed, as history tragically shows us. In 2007, a 28-year-old mother named Jennifer Strange participated in a local radio contest where she had to drink as much water as possible. She consumed roughly 7.5 liters, that's nearly 2 gallons, in just 3 hours. Despite a medically informed listener actually calling the station to warn them that she could die from water intoxication, the contest continued. Jennifer tragically died later that exact same day from brain swelling caused by extreme water toxicity. It completely proves that ignoring your body's natural limits is fatal. Astonishingly, this isn't just isolated to bizarre radio contests. It happens in elite sports all the time. Researchers found that 13% of the runners who finished the 2005 Boston Marathon had developed hyponatremia. Let that sink in. Today, more athletes are actually hospitalized for injuries related to overhydration than they are for dehydration. So why is this happening? Because we are completely ignoring our evolutionary biology. Our bodies have a brilliant built-in alarm bell, and it's called thirst. And we have this incredible hormone called vasopressin. Think of vasopressin as an internal dam worker. The absolute second your body's fluid drops even slightly, this hormone signals your kidneys to conserve water and close the floodgates. Our ancestors survived brutal droughts because of this brilliant evolutionary adaptation. We are literally overriding it because of modern abundance and marketing campaigns. You don't need to count glosses or rely on some smartphone app to tell you when you need to take a sip of water. Just check your body's natural dipstick. As a general guide, if your urine is dark, you need to drink water. If it's a pale yellow, kind of like straw, you are perfectly hydrated. But note this absolutely crucial point. Perfectly clear urine is not a sign of being cleansed. It is actually a dangerous red flag that you are overhydrated and flushing out vital, heart-regulating electrolytes. Now, I know what some of you are probably thinking, but what about kidney stones? Aren't we supposed to drink a ton of water to flush them out? Well, while people prone to kidney stones might use heavy hydration as a specific medical treatment to prevent crystallization, the true preventative antidote for the general public is actually magnesium. Magnesium is the real antagonist to kidney stones, not just endlessly flushing your system with gallons of water. And when you do drink water to satisfy your natural thirst, you really have to consider the quality of what you're actually consuming. City tap water is treated with heavy chemicals like chlorine to kill bacteria. Out of over 600 chemical byproducts floating around in typical city tap water, the EPA actually only regulates 9 of them. Just 9. This is exactly why having a reliable home water filter is absolutely essential if you live in a municipal area. On the flip side of that, be extremely cautious of modern water softeners. If you have hard well water, it is naturally rich in amazing minerals. But water softeners completely strip out the natural heart-protecting calcium and magnesium from that water. Studies have shown that people drinking natural, hard well or spring water actually have lower rates of sudden heart attacks. And it's because of that vital magnesium our ancestors naturally relied upon from their wild water sources. So here is what you really need to take away from this entire explainer. Your body is an absolute masterpiece of evolutionary biology. It is not a broken machine that needs an instruction manual from a sports drink company. Eat when you are hungry and absolutely drink when you are thirsty. But please stop forcing down fluids when your body isn't asking for them. Will you continue to let a 1945 typo and billion-dollar marketing campaigns dictate your thirst? Or will you finally start trusting the profound intelligence of your own body?